Live from the Wagner household with mom's favorite, Robbie the Wagner, and Travis.
Travis Wagner and the Square.
The other
We don't live
Wagner.
together. Just to be clear,
Yes.
we don't live together.
Yeah, no.
No, I was just making a
Robbie's
joke.
older brother Travis moved out years ago and made something of himself instead of mama's
Yeah.
boy.
I don't know this man.
Never met him.
Yeah.
Not in person.
Anyway, speaking of not knowing you, could you give a quick intro into who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I'm Travis. I am a developer, like I think a lot of people here. I'm actually a software engineer now, but I'm a
Ooh.
developer.
It's a lot.
I've been programming for about 20 years since I was 21 years or something since I was 14. And I did just recently left Universal Music. That's actually you're the first ones to hear that. So
Well, that ruins all of our notes and information about
Well, it actually doesn't because I saw your tweet that said "New Year, new job," but then you didn't say anything about it. I don't know if you want to
yeah,
expound upon that.
little mystery. Yeah, actually, I just exclusive here. I just left Universal. I was there for little over 2 years, and I took a job at Crunchyroll on their video team.
Nice,
Oh,
nice.
So really switching from a lot of web development related stuff. There's still some web. Obviously, Crunchyroll has web related things too, but in the video thing, I'm doing a lot of back end, which will be refreshing
Nice.
for me.
Will you be doing
Very
that
cool.
in Crablang?
It's been talked about. I feel like the seeds have been planted.
Yeah.
So they know that I run this community, and so it was mentioned.
Yeah. They didn't come get you because they want your Java skills. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. They were like,
Does
"This
anyone do
guy-"
that?
It's true.
Yes, like banks and stuff
So
do
many.
that. Like,
So
there's
many.
Well,
yeah,
That's
you
true.
know, there's tons of old infrastructure, current infrastructure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Speaking
the
of old
Cobolt's
infrastructure,
thing.
Oh,
Oh,
oh wow!
Nice,
but
nice
look,
segue.
fuzzy bottles.
Good segue.
I can't ever figure out how to put this in screen now because I moved my camera to the other side and I'm just
Because
like
your cameras are too
hamstrung.
Yeah, your
There we
camera's
go.
too good.
good. And it wants
See,
to
look at that.
focus.
It's like you can't see anything. But if you put it right here, next to a beautiful face, this is what you get.
Yeah, hold on.
I haven't even been
Okay.
drinking yet. I just feel like I'm in a mode and a mood today. So
I'm in a mood to drink a lot of this whiskey today.
yeah, so that's a
Yeah,
normal
it's,
Wednesday.
Yeah.
91 proof. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't get
Oh
that
wait,
sound.
yeah. This is not a family show, right? This isn't for pussies, Travis.
Oh, yeah,
And I just
Well,
mean that in a
91's
term
not
of-
that high. It's
No,
a
it's
little
not.
higher than normal, I guess, but
Yeah, I thought.
Little
Okay,
higher.
well,
Eighty-
let's
we
come
have like
back around to this.
136 sometimes, and then I like melt my mouth off.
That's hazmat.
Yeah.
So
My
okay.
brother was distilling his own whiskey for a while and got some pretty high ones. After a
That's
certain
called some
point, it's just
moonshine.
it's not fun anymore.
He's in
Yeah,
jail
but he was
now.
he was doing the whole thing. He's put it in they have these little cask barrels and
Yeah, that's fun. All right, we have an official part to cover here. I'm just turning up my volume again. All
they got
right.
these nice little glasses. You said.
Yeah.
Turning up your
Yes.
volume again.
Yeah,
turn
Travis
yourself
is
down?
Still, no, I can't. Travis is a little low for me still.
Oh, your hearing volume. I was like, your microphone is plenty loud. Please do not turn
No.
yourself up.
I know, and I'm doing a better job of eating it, as
Yes.
requested by my co-host. All right, listen, this is serious business, and in this particular
Can you
part of
tell
the
us
business-
about the whiskey?
Yes, please.
What are you doing?
Today we're having the Finger Lakes Distilling Mackenzie Rye Whiskey. It is aged a minimum of 4 years in 53-gallon new charred oak, and then finished in sherry barrels. It is 91 poops? 91 poops. That's me later. And the mash bill is 80% rye and 20% malted barley. So the Finger Lakes are in New York. That's kind of all I know about it. I've
So-
been in the Catskills.
It smells like this is a very specific, weird combo I'm going to give you. You know a box of latex gloves? When you open it, like that smell of the latex gloves mixed with
Like the powder that comes out.
yeah, I guess. I don't know what makes the smell, but
see
like
that.
that with cherry limeade.
Huh. Okay.
Definitely get like cherry something. I don't know if I
Yeah.
go limeade. It's very specific.
It's a little musty, but like the whole latex glove powdery kind of scent. Like I can get a little of that up front. I'm not getting.
Ooh, the taste is not like that at all.
By the way,
Which is
know
probably
that.
good.
I
a
wouldn't know
brief
that's 90
pause.
proof.
Just bear in mind, this episode is brought to you in part by Nordland glasses.
Oh, yes.
I paid for mine, but Travis can.
I did not.
Yeah.
I hear everybody
Enjoy.
gets them for free.
Well, we have.
Well, not everyone.
Not everyone. This is a new thing. This is a new
Yeah.
sponsorship thing. So,
Nice.
Yeah, so
thanks to
check out, I should probably know their website, which I don't. I just, Norland
glasses.
Glass.
Google Norland glasses like a sane person.
Yeah, norlandglass.com
Yeah.
/products/norland-whiskey-glass,
I like that.
which you will all type in when you hear me say that, I'm sure.
You might get it later. DMVJS
Yeah.
is definitely going to go get that now. All right,
I
I'm gonna
love
take a
how
little sippy.
I do love how it's completely separates my hand from the glass from the. It's not. I guess if you had like whiskey stones in there, it'd be more important or something. But
Ooh, a lot of cinnamon up front.
Mhm.
Actually, I usually feel that
Very
more
spicy.
in the middle. Yeah, a lot of spice, a little bit of cinnamon, almost like that big red gum kind of cinnamon.
Not the big red soda.
Yeah, which is a thing. Do you have big red soda in Michigan?
oh yeah, Big Red.
See, yeah.
For sure.
Oh, all right.
Red
All
Pop.
right. See, no one believes me, but his own
Yeah.
family, I guess. I'm trying to think here. So cinnamony. Trying to get a little more of this. It definitely had some kick to start out. Yeah, I get a little
like-
sweet.
I'm getting other descriptors that like aren't good, but I'm enjoying it. But like, it tastes kind of like paint smells too. Like
Get a nice thinner.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
Like,
it's just it's got a little more burn than I expected for 91
Yeah.
proof. It's got
Maybe I
a
haven't taken a big enough drink, but I was thinking.
Yeah,
Wouldn't expect it to be 91 proof.
Yeah, cinnamon bomb in the front. In the back, I'm getting a little bit of like grape Kool-Aid, lightly, and then a bit of that like woody leather.
power
Grape
of suggestion.
Kool-Aid?
I taste it now.
Grape
I was
Kool-Aid.
trying to when he said it. It was on my tongue as he said.
Yeah,
it.
you were
I
about
get
to say
that.
that.
I don't get that at
Right?
all.
Like, but I'm used to usually getting like some sweet first, and then the like other things in there, and it's just not.
I do get that like kind of red pop, but like even like kind of almost like Dr. Pepper kind of spices.
Yeah,
Mm.
definitely sweet in
Because
there.
there's like there's sweetness in this in like a cinnamony kind of spicy thing going on.
Yeah, but no, like not real sweet. It's not like, oh, I'm picking up some chocolates or some a non-artificial. It's definitely like grape Kool-Aid, which is like its own invented flavor.
Is this a distillery that's like that we're supposed to know about, or is this one of the like millions of small ones that have like one thing?
They do have a couple of different expressions. That said, you ordered this first, and I had to go figure.
Did
it
I
out,
really?
chase it down. Yeah.
Okay.
This was in a group of things that you were like, oh, I'm gonna get some mid-level things, maybe some stuff we haven't heard of. From
I
the wine
literally
spot.
just went. I want to spend less than $50 a bottle. Let me get a bunch of stuff.
Right,
so
right.
I don't know anything about this.
Glad
My
to
fault
see-
if it's
glad
not
to
good.
see I'm worth it.
Yeah.
No, I mean it really is just like right
Yeah.
around $50.
That's
We
where
do
I
it.
like. That's where I
Consider
like to spend like a. if
Yeah,
I'm- if
like-
it's not like nice special occasion, like super special occasion whiskey, that's a good price range for me.
Yeah, and like $100 whiskey doesn't always deliver, so that is not like, oh, our guest must have this. I actually, I mean, I just like stuff that I hear about too. I go to pick up, but like Robbie makes this order and was like, oh, do you want to get this stuff? And then I try to look because I've got a little more options and where I can go to like Total Wine stuff like that. He's got ABC stores. So I looked there. I had this at Total Wine. And then when I decided this is the one I thought we would do with you, then I went back to where he ordered, and they were out of it, of course. And then I went somewhere else and found it, though. So, whatever.
Yeah, it's total wine where you were trying to get like sent to my place.
Yeah,
I was
I
like, I've
try to
never-
look at that too, because if it's close enough, like it's really simple. It's like, and it's like $10 and they'll deliver to your door. So I'll look at that also. I look at the option. Believe the logistics of this show are not as exciting as you might think. There's a lot of like triage through old social media or blogs you haven't touched in a few years to see like what's in
Yeah,
your backlog.
I did a little bit of like whiskey trading and like trying to find bottles for a little while with my friend and trying to find certain Peppy Van Winkles and stuff.
Yeah, overrated.
And people sending you with the whole fiasco with people sending whiskey and the scams and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
And people getting upset when their bottle leaks a little bit and yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trading groups can get a little crazy. So, all
You know
right,
what else
so,
is crazy? Rating this whiskey.
exactly. It's strange, but I think we can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does our rating system work?
I believe it is 0.57 to 3.2. Is that correct?
I love this.
Or is it 0 to 8? I always get those confused.
It used to be the other way, but we switched
And
0
what's
to 8
perfect?
because it was confusing to all of us, including us. So we just
Yeah.
decided,
Okay. No, for real. It's 0 to 8 tentacles. 0 being the worst. The octopus is dead and gone. You never want that. You're trashing all of the whiskey. 4, middle of the road. You still kind of like it. Not your favorite. 8 being like best thing you've ever had. Throw everything else away. Chuck, go first.
Okay. So this is interesting. I wanted to, I can't recall the tasting notes, but I read a little bit about it and thought for a rye, let's try something from New York. I think Hudson River is the only other one we've had, maybe, that is from, oh no, there was something out of Brooklyn. Anyway, matters not, kind of a different rye. I do think we got that. I think the price point is right. It's not crazy, but it's enjoyable. It is definitely a lot of spice. I think it might make some interesting cocktails. I'd probably give it like a 5, like slightly above average, but doesn't like knock me out of the park, but enough to be like, yeah, I would have this. This is fine. Depends on what else is on the shelf, if I would buy it again or not. Like I would maybe get this over some things, and not over others. Probably not over like Sagamore rye, like the baby sag. Or not, yeah, definitely not Sagamore rye. Not over like Sazerac, baby Saz. That's what I meant to say. Something
Yeah.
like that, but definitely above average. You
Cool.
wanna give it a swing, Trav. Now that I've shown you how the professionals do it.
Yeah. Let me just before I let me just see
freshen your
something- let me see
palate on
something.
this. It could even change throughout the episode, but
Yeah, it's pretty good. I would say, for me, it's a little. It's not. It doesn't taste like it's really high proof. I know it's not 100 proof, but for a rye, I don't get as much of that like rye whiskey that I would expect. I don't think, but I do think there are a lot of cool notes there, and I think it's, like I said, it's not as smooth as I want it to be, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially just shooting the last bit there. But I would give it, let's say, there is that little bit of medicinal quality to it, astringent, but just a little. Not it's not terrible. I would give it. Let's give it a out of 8, right? So I would give it a 6.3
nice.
out of 8.
All right, that's
Not bad. Not bad.
When you say medicinal, it makes me think of, actually, I think it's a mix, like what it leaves on my tongue, and this is going to sound probably bad, is like a mix of like witch hazel and like grape cough syrup.
See, I was thinking more like a cherry, but still cough syrup. So maybe that's where I was just
Yeah.
leaning. Maybe it's whatever cough
Yeah.
syrup you're used to.
Like
listen,
really
we're not
old,
experts.
really old licorice-y candy, like
Yeah, something
1800s candy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So for me, it's not my favorite. Anytime we have a rye and it doesn't just knock it out of the park, I'm like, well, I could have had a Sagamore. Like I'm wasting my time. Because Sagamore's affordable and amazing. So like,
Right.
it's hard to beat. That being said, there are some interesting notes to this. I've had more disappointing ryes. So I'm going to split the difference between you guys and say 5.5.
All right.
All right. Still above
Locking in
average,
our
I would
votes.
say, right?
That's
Yeah.
it.
Or
No
is
going
that,
back.
or is it's so to me it's like, is the rating, is it like a grading system where 50% and below is failing, or is that average?
No, four is kind of average. If I don't rate it 3 or below, I would still get it again and drink it. Like
Yeah.
3 and below is starting to be like, there's stuff going wrong here.
Yeah. For $50,
Yeah.
I would get this.
Yeah.
It's either like comes out of a plastic bottle, or is like another thing that can affect the rating for me is like, wow, this is $100 and it's really average. And
Yeah.
that to me is a big knock. Their quality does not justify the price.
Yeah. I have to say, New York has a lot of really like young tasting, harsh stuff.
Yeah.
We've had a
Was that
lot of
corn
them.
whiskey. We had like a corn whiskey from Brooklyn or something. Maybe that's what it was. It was a little
Was,
weird.
was that the one we gave like a 0 or a 1? I don't remember.
Well, good.
There was
corn
one that was
whiskey,
bad.
You know? It's in moonshine.
Yeah.
Yeah, moonshine. That's different. That burns your mouth out. You don't know if it's good or not. Don't matter. Be drunk before you swallow.
Yeah. All right. Something that does matter.
Yes.
Implicit or explicit types.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
You know, I always say, the more inference you can get, the better. But there are exceptions to that. Like, for instance, I always think you should have explicit types on function returns, because what you're doing can affect something that might be compatible in a certain way, and then later on be incompatible again if you change something. You don't even realize it. Whereas explicit types, there you know exactly what you have to accommodate there. But otherwise, I think being able to infer types, having implicit types is, that's the dream, right? Is to be able to just write.
Yeah.
Otherwise, type more or type less and get the same benefits.
Yeah. Yeah. I infer everything that I possibly can. But I agree. Like, there's a line, and, what we've heard frequently from people is like, it matters if you're building an app or writing a library. Like, if you're shipping a library, you definitely want it to be more explicitly typed so that when people consume it, it like just works.
Well, and you're probably exporting those types separately as well, and using those types, reusing those types around the library more. You probably have some more base level types and advanced types that you're doing as well. So it kind of makes more sense there. That said, with explicit types, so for instance, I made this library called SlothPipe, and typing, like inferring the type. So all it does, it's just a pipe operator. You can pipe values into other things, and it does a little more than that. But it's kind of a recursive type, whereas you get the object and you can run methods on the object. But if you just infer it, it's very easy. You get the autocomplete, you get all the benefits. But trying to type that kind of thing, you can run into those issues like depth, recursion, and depth limit exceeded kind of things. So it's sometimes like the thing you're inferring is really hard to actually type explicitly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
Tailwind or vanilla CSS?
Oh man, I would say just in general, if you're just like, like my feelings on it and what I actually do are different. Because
Yeah,
because
your
it's like,
opinions and your actions.
that's like saying, it's like saying, this thing or the thing that uses that thing.
Yeah.
As the base. But when I actually just spin up stuff, I think like a lot of people these days, Tailwind has the advantage of just that rapid prototyping, and that compartmentalization into components that you get just naturally, and also only using just what you use. It cleans up everything else. You don't have this huge style sheet, but that said, like I'm a real sucker for just using all the bare minimum technologies sometimes, and I write a lot of vanilla CSS, just because there are things in Tailwind, like when you get outside of practical app development, if you're doing like look at the stuff that like the crazy stuff that like Jay from Works at Vercel is doing, that's a lot more difficult to do in Tailwind, because you'll be doing the but those attributes where you can use those attributes, you can use all the properties and everything, but you might have to do, the Tailwind's going to look messy as hell.
Right.
And at some point, it just makes more sense to have it be in CSS. I think the control you get is something to be said about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's fair. Although Tailwind 4 is just CSS. Not that it wasn't just
I
CSS
was to
before,
say, what was
but
it before?
I mean, like there's no like JavaScript config or like any of that. It's just like
Ah.
I
Oh,
haven't used
yeah,
it myself,
I
but
saw that. I actually, you know, I'll be honest, I don't love it. I don't love that. Just because it's more, this is non-standard CSS. So it's kind of people start out with these things, they get confused about what is and isn't. Those lines become blurred between this like configuration and what they're actually writing as CSS. And don't get me wrong, I think what was it, Teej or something did like a little experiment using CSS as config or something like that. But I think it's a declarative language. It makes sense, a lot of sense for config, but not when it's also the language. Like I don't want to have the config be in the same file as the styles I'm writing, if that makes sense. I like a little bit of separation there. I just want it
yeah,
to be nicely
you want
typed
some
TypeScript.
YAML. Yeah.
No.
Listen, YAML is a
Damn
proper
it.
programming language.
Walked right into that.
It's way better than JSON.
YAML, I got it.
Okay, there we
Yeah.
go.
Chuck
So,
likes YAML.
I like some YAML.
What?
Yeah.
I've
I
never
think
heard
it's a
anybody say that.
I don't like it because I'm not educated in it enough to use it well. Anytime I need to do like, remember when I'm doing a multi-line thing, like if you use like the greater than with the pipe and the like, different stuff, it'll do different like line shit. And I'm like, I don't know any of that. Like,
I'm just not a big fan of anything. Like, it's true that, correct me if I'm wrong, that valid JSON is valid YAML, right?
Ooh.
it might
good
be. 'Cause
question.
the indentation is correct, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, but don't hold me to that. I might just be spitting
Right.
disinformation here. But outside of that, anything that's white space dependent, significant white space, I don't like. It's not that I hate it. I won't use it. It's just that's always a negative to me.
Okay, so let me take that a step further. Two more questions. How do you feel about Python? And then, do you like semicolons?
Well, so I actually did I don't know if you know boot.dev. Shout out. I actually did a walkthrough video for functional programming for them. It's learn functional programming in Python, which is just wild. But like Python is not a functional programming language. It is impossible to do some of the core concepts of functional. Well, I shouldn't say impossible. It is impractical to do some of the core functional programming concepts in Python. And I'm like, why? But at that point in the pipeline of learning pipeline, they know the people know Python by that point. So that makes the most sense to introduce them to. And it does have some functional programming concepts like most languages do these days, but it was so like that as I was doing that, I was getting, I always try to push these languages and I try to do the stuff you're not supposed to do in them. And I was working on making like higher kind of types in Python, which is I failed at. Someone else succeeded, I saw. But it just gave me kind of a love for appreciation of how much they're trying with the language, how much they're at least pushing it forward, that I kind of lost before. Before that, it was like my wife was doing some stuff with Django. She has like a little agency business she runs, and she was building Django sites, and that's a whole different experience. Working inside that kind of framework. And I was
Django's
like,
nice.
yeah, but it's all laid out for you, and and you kind of give up on types there because unless I'm mistaken, it's not very well typed to this day. But you just don't worry about it. You have tons of documentation, examples, all this stuff. It's a really nice framework. But it was just a different appreciation I got for Python. Just being able to kind of toy around with it and see what I could do functional programming wise in Python. Like, how far can I push this? But in general, it's just not the language I reach for. I reach for TypeScript. If I'm going to write scripts, I mean, Bun, TypeScript, that's...
Bun.
Yeah,
Bun is
I
pretty cool.
personally think if I need to intentionally indent something a certain amount, that the language has failed.
Yeah,
Like,
Your criteria is so.
and on the second point, semicolons, love them. an
Same.
obvious end to a statement.
Well, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
An obvious end to a
exactly.
statement. As someone who likes programming language design, and it's a lot easier to parse.
Yeah.
Say that. Maybe it'd be
Mm-hmm.
better. Maybe the language would be better if it did. If it just accepted
That's the
semicolons.
big missing component. I'm sure you could write
Oh.
something to make that happen until runtime, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it
wait.
worth
There's
it? I
a
don't know.
there's a Python project that includes like curly braces and semis, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Probably,
that
but
tracks.
Or
Yeah,
maybe
I
actually,
just-
I think it was an April Fool's joke they did where because you can like import from futures, and I think it was like an April Fool's joke that you could import like semis or import braces from future.
Nice.
And that's when Robbie starts his Django career.
Yeah, I mean, I used Python like a couple times just to play with it, and I was just like, I have to hit spacebar so many times. I want to just only hit that if I know, like, if there's something I actually need to separate, and then
Wait.
I want to auto format.
Hold on. You know that like any editor could auto insert spaces for you when you hit tab, right?
Well, I'm not gonna hit tab.
That's just
Like,
it.
yeah, we settled the tabs versus spaces debate a decade ago, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm never gonna hit tab. So
But then like some rogue person comes through and starts like adding that stuff back. I mean, I've started to see. I
Yeah.
know that the V0 stuff that gets generated does not have semicolons in it. for
Yeah.
okay,
example.
so I have an opinion.
You think?
The tab thing, because this happened to me recently, and I don't know, somebody in the React community decided tabs are cool again, and whoever that was, fuck you. Now, I was in a project where they had done that, and like the prettier config was switched to tabs, and I was like, whatever. I'm in someone else's project, like I can play with it, whatever. I'm not gonna have a big deal, except for GitHub doesn't know. Like when you say tab width is like 2 spaces, GitHub's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
eight,
so you have this,
8.
yeah, you have this giant nested like diff, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? So I was like, okay, this is objectively better to use spaces. So I'm gonna make an argument for this now.
Yeah.
Like,
Spaces
Yeah.
is better. It's just, I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, you can choose whatever you want for it, but tabs like it's like one of those concepts that seems really nice. It's like, oh, you can make the tabs. Anybody can choose their tab width, and you just have one symbol. But in reality, it's just not that great
yeah,
because the reasons, like you said, like
yeah, yeah. It's a mess. Speaking of messes, get rebase or get merge.
I mean, Git merge for sure. Git rebase is a lie. It's saying that
Sounds like a skill issue.
you don't care about reality. You just want it to be nice and fit your narrative. That's not the case. I think that anybody who works on a sufficiently large team at one point or another is forced to align with their strategy, and
I
so
think
it's not
that
like
is true.
it's not like I'll die on that hill. I won't die on any hill. I will sell out immediately.
Right, exactly.
As I've just shown, I just took a new tab. But I also think that on those larger teams, it becomes more apparent how Git merge and explicit merge commits becomes important to if you want to find out what really happened at the end of the day if something goes wrong.
I've got a lot to hide.
Yeah, I like rewriting history.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it to be how I wanted it to be.
That said, man, it's all a lie. You can set the backdate all your commits all you want. Like I just I left this job, so I don't think it matters now. But I backdated it. Found out I could backdate the commits, and I was like, does it like show that I did that like on record? Like, because you would think everything is on record. No.
Not
You can
really.
just set the date of the commit to that thing.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
all
So
right,
like,
well,
hey,
I
how's that
definitely-
project going? Well, I finished
definitely
it
did it.
4 years ago, actually.
Exactly. Yeah, that's been finished for weeks. Your boss is like, did you even work the last week? You go through that. And you're like, look at all the commits I did.
Yeah, exactly.
I was
I mean,
was
it's the same
totally there. I
reason-
was not on the beach.
It's the same reason that GitHub like commit boxes, the green boxes. It doesn't matter. You can write it. You can ask Claude or whatever to write you a
Yeah.
script to do that. And
Or use GitHub Gardener. Have you seen that?
Gardener.
It makes it all green. It's just an automated thing.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that thing for your boxes.
They just
or whatever
circumvent
else.
like any nuance.
Yeah.
If anybody actually still looks at that for some sort of like signal to productivity or just stupid because
That's definitely true, but I do think been controversial in the past about this, but if you're not on fucking GitHub putting out something, doing something at all, then like you're first of all, even if you are at the big, because people argue like, oh, if you're big companies or you got a lot big workload, well, you're just cheating your future self, because if you're not doing anything for yourself, then you're hurting your advancement, you're hurting your development, and yes, it looks bad. Have somebody to show. It's like being like, just trust me. I'm a great
go
artist.
on my
I'm a great artist. No, you
GitLab,
can't
go
see.
on
You
my
can't see.
Bitbucket. Can I push them to SourceForge or Bitbucket or
SourceForge.
I think somewhere
beginning.
that's public with a history is fine. It could be a different platform as long as you can point them to it.
Yeah, but just link it from your GitHub.
Well, yeah,
Right, there you go.
That's where they're gonna
having
go.
Other
zero
shit to be seen here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
having
I don't,
zero commits on GitHub is a problem. I think.
Yeah, I mean-
You can fake how many you have, but having zero is a immediate red flag.
Well, I know for this job that the hiring manager was, made a point of commenting about being impressed by my GitHub and like the projects I had on there.
So I
And,
would say this. Oh, go ahead.
Oh
Sorry.
no, and it's funny because I kind of looked at that position that I wanted in video, and I'm not the huge. I have some history in video, but I'm not the biggest on it. I don't know how I got this job, but so I specifically made some like projects that relating to video and FFmpeg and AWS like Cloud Convert and stuff like that.
Yep.
And they're public, and he saw that, and that was like a green flag for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's true. I think that. Oh, this is what happened. I'm old and I forgot it. Oh, damn it! This is reality, folks. This is unedited.
When did it's coming for? It comes for us all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some sooner than others.
This episode is sponsored by Prevagen. Is your mind failing?
It is.
Try is Prevagen's a mind thing, right? Am I
Can't
right?
remember shit.
I don't know.
I've never seen that, so I just have to. take
Maybe I
your
got it
word.
wrong. One of those stupid supplements that old people are like, "Oh, I couldn't remember anything until I took this." Anyway,
Okay. So, I think I got it back again. Prevagen, it works. So, and that quickly, I popped one, boom, there it was. No, so is it a requirement to have a GitHub history to do open source, to do any of those things? It's not, but think of it this way. This is my agreeing with you / advice to the masses, which is, especially in the current marketplace, anything you can do to differentiate yourself and present a reputation outside of the interview itself
Yeah.
goes to behoove you. And if you want a more direct interview process where maybe you don't have 8 steps to prove yourself, maybe you only have 6 or whatever it is, but if like reputation comes along with you in this process, I think it only helps you.
Yeah.
I think it was that before, but I can see like a very strong case for like being in a deep pool of competition that you want to stand out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm in a very specific like mindset that it doesn't matter what I agree with or want to change or necessarily believe is the right way to do things. It matters what the way it is right now and deal with that situation. Like I don't think that leak code should be. I love doing leak code problems, but I don't think it should be used as a metric for hiring at all. Yeah. Especially a lot of so many jobs. Like for some jobs, maybe it's a good little metric, but the pressure and the nature of the problems don't usually align with the jobs. And but again, if you want to work at one of these
Phenomena.
That's what they are now.
Manga.
It's phenomena.
Yeah, we've coined this.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Phenomena.
If you want to work in one of those companies, you're gonna have to just grind it out. Just do it.
Yeah.
Brain laws.
That's
Yeah,
like-
interviewing is totally separate from the real skills of the job. So yes, it's a
Interviewing
stupid
is the
requirement.
skill, yeah,
Yeah.
but then at the same time, you don't a lot of people act like by participating in that, or by being part of the problem, you're perpetuating it. But to that, I would say, fuck you. I got to feed my family.
I think it's the
my
same-
morality, my morals don't feed my family.
right. Yeah,
It's the
for
same
sure.
as anything, like a college degree. Do you need that? Is it relevant to your job at all? Probably not. Like, but it shows that you can like start a thing, finish a thing.
Yes.
Grind. Like I think the
One-
same with leak code. It's like you start that so that you can show that you can
we
do that.
grind.
It's not about actually doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it is their way of saying, "Hey, if we throw a hard problem at you, can you go and spend the time to
Yes.
go through?"
Are
it?
you dedicated?
Well,
yeah.
well, and that's I will say about the interview process, Crunchyroll. Yeah, they had a live coding. It was kind of a brutal process, especially for someone who's feeling like I don't know shit about video. What am I even doing here? But the live coding part, there was apparently 3 parts to it. We got mostly the way through part 2, and they're like, nobody finishes part 2.
That's funny.
But it was less about what you're solving and how fast you're solving it, and more about me talking to that developer, being willing to ask, what do you think, or like talk through the situation, struggle and overcome kind of thing.
Yeah. What's your process?
Yeah, and when like the first part of the solution, I just literally put plus instead of minus, or vice versa. And he was like, I think the issue is around here, and like highlighted literally that. Like,
Yeah. One
all right,
character.
but being able to ask questions and admit you're wrong, or admit that you don't know it, like that's a huge problem in the community, right? Is like there's such a thing with like intellect and being the smartest, which I don't subscribe to. But I think that if you ever think you're like the smartest, you don't learn, and you come off as you don't come off as hireable. 'Cause
Yeah.
you struggle. If
I
you're
think-
struggling, you'll struggle alone, and nobody will know, and then it'll be week 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the smartest people, or that level of people, is less desirable than people who are willing to work hard, and that's kind of what leak code does. And it like picks people that will grind versus like, the person who just knows everything already. So it's like it's a learned skill to be able to just like
Yeah.
iterate and
of
grind
course,
stuff out.
There are like data structures, algorithms, like core principles that will help you with that. But people are like, this rote memorization of leak code problems, specifically like inverting a binary tree or whatever, that's pointless. And I'm like, anything that gets you a job or helps you get a job, no matter how stupid it is, isn't pointless.
Yeah, especially if it's
True.
a job you really want, I
Yes.
guess, right? Like,
Well, definitely. Or
if
or
I
a job
just
that pays
want
really, really
yeah,
well.
yeah, there you go. If I just want money, then
Yeah.
there's that path of things. If I want a job at a specific company or handful of companies, there's that criteria. And then if I want to, put a flag down and say this is all I'm willing to do, then you have to accept whether
Well,
or not some
I guess that
company is
kind of
willing
goes
to take
to
that.
like, so question for both of you. Would you be miserable? Like really miserable? Like maybe not even a programming job, like ditch digging job. $2 million, but you work 80 hours a week at that terrible job.
Only 80? Maybe.
100.
it
I don't know what's
depends.
a lot.
Because like
It all
lawyers-
depends.
Lawyers work on average like 100 plus hours.
So let's go 100
a
plus.
week,
Let's go
right?
100 plus hours.
Yeah.
But it's
So their
one
hourly
full-
sucks,
one
but
full
obviously
year.
the compensation is good for
So-
one full year.
But
Maybe,
it doesn't
yeah.
have to be ditch digging because maybe you enjoy
Yeah.
that. Something. It's
Well,
just
yeah. I do
something
like
you
manual
don't-
labor.
So
so
I
that'd
was
be
gonna
weird.
say, like, I would enjoy some manual labor. It would suck in the beginning because I wouldn't be used to it. But all right,
But for a bunch of money,
all right.
fuck
The
yeah.
point is
thing I
something you
wouldn't
hate.
do, the thing I wouldn't do, I would not
Talk to
like,
Robbie for a year every day straight. I probably wouldn't do that.
yeah, I would not like write assembly for a year for
Oh,
$2 million.
God, that'd be my
I would
dream-
not
that'd
do
be my
that.
dream job.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like
So much to learn.
yeah, so much to learn. So like
I don't know, and maybe
critical
that's just
and
because I haven't used
nuanced.
it enough, but it seems like such a like slog of just tons of
Oh,
manual stuff.
it's a refreshing course in like how CPUs work. And the problem is the learning resources we have available today for other languages, and this applies to other things except besides assembly. Like LLMs are not good with assembly. There's just less training data, and
Right.
and there's so many brands of assembly depending on the architecture you're writing for and things like that. But it is refreshing. Like it's the most simplified kind of thing. Like I wouldn't recommend writing binary machine code from
No,
by
right.
hand, but I
Yeah.
would recommend like just it's
Just
a
one
it's
level off from
yeah,
that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
which is that which is
It's a
like
good learning exercise, but I just don't think I would want to do it every day. Like I did that in school, and I
I would
don't
love
want to
it.
do that again.
I would love it. But you probably did it for some unknown microcontroller. My wife's a CS student and she's in her senior year, and she took an assembly course and I was loving it, and she
Yeah.
was hating it.
Yeah.
But she's learning on some like it's not even a Raspberry Pi. It's some other like TI,
Oh yeah, yeah, like
random
off
micro,
brands,
yeah,
like yeah.
something that you'll never use again in your life. I'm like, why are they teaching you on like this brand of assembly that you'll never? Because it's a risk architecture, reduced instruction set.
Probably because the cost for them
Yeah,
to like license out this thing and get the equipment is like
100%.
little to
But
nothing.
but I feel like you're not teaching them skills like even in assembly that will be applicable.
Well, don't you know college is free? Nobody pays for that. Like
Everything's
you
free
should
if you
get
don't pay
money
for it.
value.
Man, I got a music degree.
Yeah, and you took
And
some
it
life
ain't
skills out
free.
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could have been a band like Fish or something, and instead you decided to program.
Well,
Well, I mean, as a bona fide autist, I'm interested in so many things. I dive deep no matter what it is. So you put it in front of me, the lights are flickering on the screen. That's what I'm going to be into. So,
Yep. This is where you
before
landed.
it was music, now it's programming. And, programming is I feel like I'll do the rest of my life, genuinely.
yeah.
I'm gonna
Hold on, Chuck. Hold that
don't
thought.
do it. Don't do it.
I just want to say, what instruments do you play? Do you happen to play bass and or drums?
Yeah.
Both.
Both?
Yes. I play.
Okay.
Which one? If you
We'll come
had to
we'll come
pick
back
one.
to that
If you had
because
to
I
pick
want
one.
to let Chuck say what he wants to
Fuck is
say, and then we'll come back to that. What did you want to say, Chuck?
Well, now I want to play the drums, but well, I was just gonna skip the. I just wanted to say no more hot takes. We're like, 45.
We're
minutes
firmly
deep,
out of
still
it.
Going to that, way out of that stuff. There's some other things here.
Have we said any hot takes? Really? Well,
I mean, there was some.
They're
I don't
lukewarm
know.
takes.
I was gonna say
They used to
fork or
be hot
fix,
like
you
2
have this
years ago when we
forking
started them.
history. Yeah, exactly. iTerm or ghosty. That's a hot take.
yeah.
I keep coming back to iTerm.
Do people
I don't
like
know.
iTerm?
No, ghosty, 100%.
Yeah.
All I
Yeah.
want from a return. Sorry, let's go.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other show now. What's
Yeah.
wrong with using?
I think you mean warp.
I've got two things. I didn't like it. I don't
You don't
know.
like
I
warp?
was-
Oh.
well, I did
I like warp.
until it upgraded to make me do an account, and then I kind of was
Well,
like,
now they've
You can use
changed
it
that.
without it now. Yeah.
yeah,
But
I've heard that,
But
so I might
apparently
come
there's a
back
bunch
to
of
it.
features you're not getting, which hopefully it's just.
I mean, they have to
ones
make
that
money,
you would
so
need
I
an
get
account.
I
I
mean,
guess.
it's pretty neat that your terminal can be like, you get an error and it's like, hey, would you like me to fix that for you? And I'm like, okay. And it's like, I noticed in this file you're a dumbass and you should have done this. And I'm like, dope, cool, thank you, fix that for me.
Right, yeah.
So anyway,
Debugging is faster.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try it again. I did like it at first, hit that point, and I was just like, everything's a fucking subscription anymore. I'm like so sick of this. Maybe if I paid you once for this software like I used to 10
you don't
years
have to
ago-
pay for it though.
Okay. Well,
It's-
exactly.
you have to
pay for it.
you have to log in to get certain features, but if you want to, you don't have to pay for it unless you're sharing things with more than 3 users. So it's
I
Fine,
imagine
no.
that a lot of
Nobody
the
wants to work
AI
with me.
stuff, but
yeah.
All right.
Anyway, we are all over the place.
I got
Where are
another
we going?
question for Grandma's boy. Because it says Grandma's favorite, so I've got another question for Grandma's boy.
I outrank you.
That's right. First of all, I want to know what's wrong with using jQuery in 2025.
you just don't need it. I mean, half the things it was invented for have been replaced. More than half have been replaced directly by ES6 or further, specification. Um, okay, it's a little more verbose. Write a little like, come on. This,
Uh, You
little
can
I
more
think what you
verbose.
want to use is cash. Ken Wheeler's creation.
just
Yeah,
a
I mean,
dollar
and
sign.
so,
I do like
Yeah.
a dollar sign.
and it's
Yeah.
yeah. If you'd like a dollar sign, go for it. And I do have a problem with a lot of the like replacement jQueries because they're not really right.
Yeah.
And a big part of jQuery is like the Fluent kind of interface there, and you don't get that. A lot of people use like a dollar sign for query selector and $2 signs for like query selector all. But
Yeah.
regardless, it takes like 20 lines of code to rewrite a lot of the query selector stuff that you're
To
concerned
get your
about.
own sugar if you want. Anyway.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also
Also,
like
is my
autocomplete not a
microphone
thing?
not working? Do I sound like shit? Because it sounds like it says I'm on
No, you sound-
AirPods. I just noticed.
Oh, really? No,
No, you sound great.
yeah, you sound fine.
It sounds like a sexy microphone. Like if I get closer,
It's definitely in that microphone.
Okay.
Does
Well, I
mine
don't know.
sound better?
Maybe it's your.
I don't know
hearing.
what's
Maybe
happening.
it's that
I'm
my
very,
voice is better than yours.
I'm very confused.
That's
I swear to
normal.
God, if Riverside fucks me on this again, I'm gonna be upset.
That'd be great if we're hearing your microphone, but Riverside's recording
Yeah,
this
but then out in the
Oh
woods,
God.
Jason Torres, let us know. Are you hearing Robbie with the right microphone, or did you bounce on us like a bitch?
But I guess going back to why not jQuery in general, it's just like what do you need? What do you need it for?
Yeah.
Just like that's the question. Like, okay, jQuery is here. Is it because you don't want to learn the specification that will be especially now that you can't share CDN libraries from, like you're not saving because before if you had a CDN and they had already cached it.
Yeah, you got that benefit, and
Yeah.
many sites were doing the same thing, so
Yes.
it was like all over the place. Pretty
Yes,
great. Yeah.
but now that you don't have that benefit, it's a big hindrance because
Yeah.
that's my question: is what do you need it for? What are you doing with jQuery?
Intercooler JS, because HTMX is just intercooler without jQuery. Maybe I don't know.
I mean-
Thoughts there.
Yeah,
Okay, but I would almost say, and I don't think any of your arguments are wrong by any means. It's takes all kinds of tools
Goddamn
and
right.
abstractions and sugar and all that kind of stuff for some people, but not for others. I think that this whole like panacea of React for everything, which I know some people feel very strongly about, React across the stack and bridges the divide between, what is it, a low floor, high ceiling kind of thing. I don't know. Anyway,
I personally
you know,
like
you remember
normal
that
size
Yeah,
ceilings.
you were at the HTMX conference.
yes, I was exactly. So
Low floor, high ceiling was the talk there, right?
Yeah. And so that was Sam's talk that led into Ryan's talk, and there was like a similar ideology, but I think that Ryan's pushed it way further. I did enjoy his talk quite a lot. I'm not sure like I share the same fervor for making React like this ubiquitous, write once, read everywhere, fix all the problems thing. There's no handoff kind of ideology. But that I've just seen it over applied. I think that the tools of the web are constantly getting better, and
Yeah.
like you said, jQuery, like why do you need it? Because everything, there's so many native browser APIs that fill those needs, and possibly so in a bunch of these other libraries that have been like flashterbating websites for so long that we kind of forgot what the basis is of all this was and what it did. So I agree. I was just trying to like see if you would kind of what tangent you might go
Yeah,
on that.
I
and
think,
I think it could apply other places.
Yeah, React is great. A lot of people think I don't like it because I advocate for using browser solutions, native solutions. Advocate for using things like HTMX, much lighter,
Right.
declarative kind of things. But those aren't. I think my biggest problem is that React is getting away and has been getting away for some time from their strongest point, which is single page applications. And I think that what I usually talk about with using native or using SSR or using HTMX, they're not replacing spas. They're better solutions than what React currently has with less complexity for creating these, these multi-page applications and creating a lot of other solutions. That said, I recently, I've recently been using like React and trying to do some of their server component things and trying to do it myself and implement it myself. And it's given me insight on what their goal is. I just don't think it is the solution for 70% of people.
Yeah.
And that takes away from React being the solution it was before, where you knew what to use it for and you just had to apply it. But that said, I think we're running into a problem too, where if you ask Claude to make you a thing, it uses Tailwind and React.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's gonna
It got
be
it half right.
V0 is going to do that.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of these tools that the current, a lot of working developers will reach for at this point because of recency or whatever is kind of available to them. I think it's twofold. I think that the solutions and suggestions are heavily influenced by those tools. And then I think also that we have a lot of people who basically learned how to create websites using React. And React is their go-to for, their rendering. They're not writing HTML. They don't even know what really semantic
JSX, you mean?
HTML. Yeah, JSX, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's JSX over semantic HTML, and and React to do all the things and manipulation for them. And this idea of like event management or state management in other ways, like locally APIs built into the browser.
Yeah.
All of those are just foreign. They learned how to build a website in React. They've
Yeah.
been doing that for 4 years now. Their next job is probably going to want it too. So
Yep.
they're tailoring to the skill set.
I mean that's true. But at the same time, I feel like there's so much of the people getting into React or doing what you're talking about are getting in so surface level that they're not really understanding what's going on with React these days. They're like,
What's JavaScript though? They don't know that either.
yeah, that. but I mean, I'm on the end of that conversation that it doesn't fucking matter. Do they pay you? To pay you what you want?
There you go.
Do you know
Yeah.
what they want you to know? That's good. And but that being said, I think that you don't know what they want you to know because you're not understanding like React even anymore. You're understanding the output of an LLM is an interpretation of React, and it's just we've gotten so far from like principles where I think that a lot of these other kind of frameworks, with their signals and things. And I think that HTMX, a big reason I advocate for it again is I think it's changing the.
Carson pays you.
He does pay out pretty well. I think that if you want web to move forward, you have to embrace other things than React because accepting a solution, no matter what it is, means that we don't try to push the standard forward. And that's all I want. I want web components to be so good. They're so good. They could be so good, but they're not. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, they've been
No hot
stagnated. I
takes.
mean,
Sorry.
it's been a promise for a decade, right, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of irrelevant. Like, I feel like things like Astro mean I don't need web components. I can write a couple React components, a couple Vue components, whatever the fuck I want, and just ship
holy
it all.
shit, I'm not like Astro is like, and I'm biased because I'm recently been exploring Astro further and kind of been amazed by more things. So whenever you're in that kind of infantile like learning process, whoa, this is great. So disclaimer there, but I'm like, holy shit, this is great. Like they're doing a lot of the things. There's a little bit of that like you have to know the parts of Astro, like the front matter kind of things.
Yeah.
But it's a very short learning process, and you get fucking TypeScript completion. It's
Yeah. Yeah. You get like
and it's
all
fast
of the
as shit.
first class. Yeah, exactly. It's like an excellent generator of things. You get like first class representation of web APIs, and then you get to layer in all the nice stuff on top
Yeah,
if you want.
and it's very explicit about like the JavaScript that you write in the front matter is server side, and if you need something client side, you have to use an actual script tag and like just basics of web development that people like don't know because it's like everything is Vite compiled, whatever. Like
And that's what I really do think there's something important about it.
fired.
Like if you're just going to Veet's great.
Yeah, that's what I
Veet is
said.
good. I didn't mean to say Veet was bad.
Robbie wants to fight Evan. Apparently, I don't know.
No,
This is what
no,
he said.
I like Veet. I like Veet.
But I do think there's something important about just like making an HTML file that has a style tag with all your styles, everything in it, and then writing at the bottom or putting in a script tag that has async or defer your scripts for that file, for that page. Learning that process, like it makes you appreciate the tools more, and
What they're actually doing
what
for
they're
you.
actually doing for you. Yes,
And how and understand the outputs, right?
Yeah.
Because you get all this stuff compiled out, and like it is creating script tags and style tags and all those things and injecting, but you're
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
And then I think there's something to be said about one step further from that, like taking something like Bun server or like a simple Node server, and like trying to do some of the finding the problems you have when you start to create multiple pages, right? And you want to share information around, and trying to solve those problems, you start to realize what problems they're solving for you.
Yeah, yeah. I think you understand how good you have it.
Yeah,
If
that,
you've had to
that
Yeah.
was
go through
with Rust. Like I got into Rust after TypeScript, and it took me 3 tries. But then after the third try, I had taken to C a little bit more, and that really makes you understand what you're getting with Rust versus like just C by you try Rust by itself, and you're like, this is a great language, I like it, And after TypeScript, I started to understand static types more, and to even a more degree with Rust, that principle. But I didn't realize what like it meant to be like, oh, why does it matter if it's safe? What does that mean? Undefined behavior. Because if you start,
protect you from yourself.
yeah, but if you start there, you don't realize what you're getting protected from,
Yeah.
or why
Yeah.
it exists,
Like
what,
how
what
good
it's,
it
what
is and why
problem
it's
solving.
worth like trudging through
Yes.
because
And these days, I would say, with the FFI, I would be like, interact with your C code through the FFI. Do every goddamn other thing you can in a language like, not just Rust or Crablang, if you're inclined, but language that prioritizes, defined behavior. That's crazy to think. People talk about it like safety, but what we're really talking about is defined behavior. Wouldn't you want a language that encourages defined
Not doing the
behavior?
wrong thing. Yeah. Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
no, no,
Although
that-
PHP is a lot of fun.
is it?
I mean, it is, man, and it's gotten so much better. And I that PHP is how I made my first, like that's how I supported myself.
I was gonna say that's how I made my first couple $100
Yeah.
WordPress plugins,
Yeah,
crap
yep,
like
yep.
that.
Same,
Yeah.
same WordPress plugins. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then- and
it's
then,
like the first
path.
thing. Like if you're coming from things that actually care about what you do, and you can go, all right, this thing is a number, and now it's a string,
Yep.
and it's like you're like, okay, this is kind of it's weird, but it's kind of fun to be
It's
able to.
I like PHP
wild.
because it's wily, and
Yeah.
and I can appreciate its quirks, whereas like usually quirks in Python I see as like a downside. Quirks in like PHP, like the fact that every variable needs to start with a $sign for it, just
So many dollar signs.
That's it. If you write enough $signs, Lambo.
classic.
So yeah, you know where it's going there. Hold on, I'm making sure I didn't. Oh yeah, what course did you make for boot.dev? It wasn't
we,
about Golang.
we talked
apparently.
about that
Yeah, it was
a little bit
functional-
ago.
Functional
Yeah.
programming for in Python.
Oh
Yeah, no, I think the
no,
only
I missed
thing
that intro part of
we-
it. I was
yeah.
probably coughing, by the way, like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah,
I was
we
coughing like
got through
crazy.
most of these questions without asking the questions, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
But
it is. It's pretty
one
good.
thing we do always ask everyone, and I think I'm going to know the answer with the emphasis
Yeah,
on
it'd be an
music,
easy one.
but
don't. Okay, no music.
if you weren't in tech, what other career would you choose?
You don't have to have the skill either.
Yeah, you can
You
just
don't have
gain
to
a
have
skill.
the skill. I would
Yeah.
choose. Okay, so don't have to have the skill. I would choose. I'll choose chemistry. There's so much good to be done there, and so much impact to be had there. And I failed it 3 times, so I don't have the skill.
Right. If it had gone
To be
otherwise.
clear, I did pass once.
Yeah.
But it mattered. But so without having a skill, just say I had. Assume you because you're assuming you have all the skill. You just choose whatever you want.
Yeah.
Say chemistry would be big, just because there's things we don't know yet, and discovering things is so rare today, and doing a unique thing is so rare today. That chemistry was just like I guess it's probably also because I don't know shit about it. And a lot of people would be like, "Hey, you're not making new shit either, Ben." But like in my mind, not knowing it that much about it, I feel the possibility is there to like really impact everything.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very noble. That's good. I would pick a model. I would to be a male model because I would like to have a
You're not?
profession
You're
that
not,
allows
Chuck?
me to. I know I know. Looking at me looks
Yeah.
like that's how I got my start.
Yeah.
But because I would like to be able to just be more naive in the world.
That's fair.
And
That's
just
Like
and have a good
not
life.
even know about anything. Yeah.
Just be like, I
Damn
can
it,
be
Chuck.
dumb.
God
And I'm
damn
not
it.
saying models are dumb by any chance, by any stretch of it.
I
Like
mean,
obviously it can
statistically
be
they
anyone.
are though.
But I could be dumb,
That's
and I
okay.
could just have a nice ass life.
Yep. I would love to
And
be
that would be
ignorant.
nice.
Yeah. Nobody ever says that being smarter or being more informed ever makes you happier.
You're right, exactly.
That's
So,
true.
Yeah, struggle is real, bros.
Yeah. Yep. Well, on that note, we're at time here. Is there anything
Robbie's
you
gotta
want
get dinner. He's
I
clearly
do
getting
have to
thinner
get
by the
dinner.
second.
I want
What?
both. I want both of you to take a little
Yeah.
final
Yeah, I got
poll
some.
with me here.
Okay.
I like it.
Oh, I thought you said a final poll. I thought you were going to ask us a question.
Pool.
You
I
can
think
pull
he
from the
said.
bottle, or
Hold on.
it's
Pull
a
from
there.
the bottle.
You get what
There
I'm
you
saying.
go.
Pull.
Yeah, I don't know if you can
Yeah.
see, but I have some in there.
I
see,
believe.
so
you.
I'm not
We're
bullshitting.
not
you.
like that here, right?
No,
Chuck
no, I don't
actually
fake
only
it.
drinks
Is there anything
tea.
in that? Is there
Everyone thinks
anything
it's
in that?
whiskey.
No, if
His cup's
anything,
black for a
I
reason.
drink
I
tea
knew it.
As, yeah. You, Trav, you've sat next to me. I don't have a problem having a drink. Okay.
I
So,
know that's why I came on here. Well, his name's Wagner.
Yeah, his name's Wagner.
Yeah.
My name's Drunky.
It would be awkward at the family reunion if you didn't come on, but
Yeah, that too. Your brother Lane
be
has
clear.
been on here too, so it's like,
Yeah.
I saw it.
yeah, cousin Lane,
Yeah.
all the Wagners. I'm surrounded.
This
Yeah.
was a fantastic time. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks
you're
for
welcome.
coming
We'll
on.
have to do it again when Riverside inevitably has been recording my AirPods this whole time and it sounds like shit. So,
Salute
Yeah.
is what I say. Thanks for joining in.
I did not finish mine.
Listen to the pre-recorded outro.
Yes. Peace.
Yeah.
It's just me, right?
Yeah. So anyway, we stop now, but